Welcome to Lucero Gaming, and in today's video we're going to discuss the ES44C4 locomotive on Cajon Pass. You may be wondering, we have the training center. While that is correct, and it does teach you things that you need to know to move this stuff, it does not teach you everything you need to know. So in today's video, I'm going to even show you how to go from cold and dark to moving the train. So if you want to check out way more details, stick around and let's get into it. I hope everyone is having a great day today. I'm excited to bring another how-to guide on the channel. But before we go any further than that, if you're new here, please consider hitting the subscribe button, and while you're down there, make sure you do click that bell so you don't miss on notifications. If you like train sim world videos or other simulation games, this is a channel for you. We are trying to build up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year 2022. So the locomotive is cold and dark. It is not currently running, and I'm going to show you everything in this cab. First things first, you're going to come back to the back panel and you're going to switch every single breaker. I always start from the left, work myself right, and then come down. And you just want to flip all these up. Some of these are not as important, but there might be something that the game might not like if it's not flipped, so I just recommend you flip everything up. So it should all look like that. And you can read it, this switch is for DP power. You got short hood and long hood headlights. So some of these are very important, just like these ones down here. Alright, once you get done with the panel, just come over here and open up this back door so you can hear a ringing sound. Okay. So what you want to do is you're going to hover over this black switch that says engine start. You're going to hold it. Within maybe a couple seconds, you're going to start hearing a ringing sound. Once you hear that, you keep holding that button, and once you no longer hear it, let go of the button. So you can hear that ringing sound. Just keep holding it. Let go. And you can hear the engine starting right up. So again, hold that button till that ringing stops, and then let go of it. And then before you put that cover down, make sure you come over here and pitch your engine control switch to run, and then you can just close this. Now you're ready to sit in the engineer seat. Right, I know in the tutorial for the training center or training ground, it kind of teaches you the basics, but it didn't touch fully on everything. So you can take your reverser in and out. Just hover over the reverser handle, and that allows you to take it out. So let's start on this side. So here's your radio, and now if you're wondering how to hook up DP power, I have a video on that, but I'm just going to give you a quick tip here. You just push this banking comm. It's going to be on the PTT switch on the radio. Now that video on the DP power, I go in way more detail. So I'll leave it in the iCard. You can go check it out if you need help with that. If we come down here, we got our automatic brake. This controls the entire train's brakes. Okay, so that's your head locomotive all the way to your rear car. Let's go down to the next one. This is your independent. This controls only locomotives. Here's your rear headlights and front headlights. You can see we got headlights and ditch lights, and we got our rear lights. And since I'm out here, I might as well show you the handbrake. So the handbrake is on the conductor side and the rear. The cool thing is they allowed us to actually use it automatically. So you can see this is apply and this is release. The if I push the release button, the wheel's gonna turn until you don't have to hand crank it. And then let's apply it. And also, the chain down here moves. So we release it and you can see the chain move. Again, you're not gonna, when you load into the game, you're not gonna find this off or handbrakes on. But if you want to play it as real as possible, or you happen to accidentally turn off the locomotive, this is a great video for you. Also, you can do it by hand. Apply it and release it. Alright, so now that we got the handbrake out of the way, we can move down to the heater. So again, if you want the heater on, here's the switch for it. Moving up on the right hand side, you can see this little notch right there. Letters are lead sand, so it will control the lead locomotive sand. And the good thing about the switch is all you do is turn it on and it stays on. Now if you come check here on the screen, you can see that yellow looks like sand. That tells me that the sand is on. The only bad thing is in order to turn it off, you have to stand up, again, maneuver, hover, and then turn off. So this next, you'll see this also says sand. You can either go right or left, but you have to hold it. What that sands is the entire consist. A consist is all your locomotives on the train. So that will sand all of them. If you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it will sand all of them. Next switch is our bell. Oh, sorry, that's our bell. The yellow switch is our alerter. Now, once you load in the game, this locomotive automatically has the alerter on. I'll show you that sound later on in the video. Next is our bell. Again, hold the button and go up, and then down turns it off, or you can even do up and up. So it's kind of like a two-way thing. You can even go down and either way. But that's your bell. And the cool thing about it is here on the dash, it has all the same controls. So here's your horn, and here's your horn. There's our bell. And just like on this side, we have also an alerter. And our horse sequencer, I will show you that also in a little bit. It only works when you're moving down the tracks at a higher speed. Here is our Fred or EOT switch. So let's see, did the wrong little, kind of have to, there it is, open the cover. So what's going to happen is when you're hooked up to a train, this will give you a number. The rear will give you a number. Obviously this doesn't have a number because my train's back there. So once you hook up to a train, this will give you a number. And if you use this switch like this, it will pop the Fred. What we call it Fred in the railroad, but you know, it's EOT. It will pop it. So you can have the emergency brakes applied from the rear train back to the head locomotive. Okay. So there's that. That's it's covered so that you don't accidentally touch it. Again, we have our horn sequencer right here, and then our horn. This screen, the only thing that works on it is miles per hour, which is up here. So that's about the only good thing about that screen. Coming down in our throttle section, we have our dynamics, which I'll also show in a little bit how to use. And then we got our throttle, and then we got our reverser. Currently we're in neutral, so you put it forward, you go forward, you go back, you go in reverse. But we'll do it in forward. Coming on this section, we have engine run, gen field, and control. All three of these switches have to be up. So if you see any of these switches down like this, it won't let you go. Watch. I'm a Nache, and there's no revving, no nothing. So each of these controls something in the engine compartment that pulls the power to the traction motors. So you got to make sure that all three of those are on. And now if we test it, it does take a little bit for the locomotives to load up. We're not moving because of the independent brake. But make sure those switches are up. Come over to this end, and we got another important switch right here that says dynamic braking. If this switch is not on, you can't use dynamics. I always flip up these switches, gauge lights and step lights. The gauge lights will control these letter boards, and then the step lights will be like here in the entryway on the stairs. You can kind of see it right there. And then here's the other things. You got window heater, attendant call, and emergency lights. These don't really matter. They're just, you know, if we run a passenger train, you can call your attendant, but this is free, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, coming to the screen now. This screen is, I think, the only one that works. And you can see that our headlights on both ends are on, and that we are in lead and in freight. So if for some reason you need to swap ends, cut off these brakes, you'll come here to more options and operator controls, and they will give you the ability to cut in or cut out your automatic brakes and then your independent. So I recommend that your independent is set on full when you're stopped somewhere, because again that controls the locomotive brakes, and if you're on an incline, you don't want to roll forward or backwards. So, and the good thing about talking about the independent, the good thing about this brake is you can add air, take off air whenever you please. I can put 30%, I can put 60%, and then I use these a lot when I'm trying to stop, because using this takes a lot longer to stop. It has to move air through the entire train. Again, this just uses our train brakes. I mean our locomotive brakes, sorry. Now, if you put a set on automatic brake, 53%, you can come here and it says 75. Okay? So currently we have 75 pounds running through our brake pipe. And if you look right underneath it here, it says BC. That's your independent brake. Okay? Well, you don't want brakes on your locomotive if you're going downhill, because you'll burn up your locomotive brakes. So you'll come over here and release. Re-release. And it still shows 33%, right? Let me make sure that. Now for release, we still have 33%. What you gotta do is you gotta bail them. And now you got 0. So what bailing is, okay, so the automatic brake controls the entire train, including your locomotives. Bailing them releases the locomotive brakes. Not the car brakes, but the locomotive brakes. So you're able to still run. That's excellent if you're going downgrade and you want to drag brakes on the cars and not locomotives. So that's how you use those two together. Now, coming back to the screen, we're going to cut out our brakes. So F2 will control your automatic brakes, and your independent brakes will be under F3. You can see that it says trail and it says cut out. When you're done, push back, and now these are cut out. Before you leave, what you want to do is you want to get your automatic brake and go to handle off and release your independent. Now there's no brakes on this locomotive whatsoever. To go back to cut it in, more options. Where was that at? More options. Yeah, operator controls. Auto brake cut in. And independent lead. And then back. We got handle off, so there is no air running through the automatic. So let's knock it fully off to release. And again, don't forget about applying full application on your independent. This screen does not work, it's just there. There's a couple of things that tells you your date and time. So when you load in the game, if you're working a noon job, it's gonna go, by minute by minute. And then it also gives you your unit number, so that we are in the BNSF-3290. All right, I'm gonna get hooked back up to this train, and I will walk you through dynamics and the horn sequencer, and that should be the end of the video. All right, you can see that our rear number is now at 81. So that should start building up. This number right here should be showing something. I don't know why it says 0, but flow means if there's air running through it, it will show you. And technically there is air running through this train because we got 3 locomotives and a good size of a stack train on us. So this number should be showing some type of flow. Okay. Now, it's going to take a little bit to get this thing loaded because the back is still at 82. You want the number within 3 digits above or below this number right here. So we would like it at 86. But again, I don't know what the train's going to do. Maybe if we give it a little bit of throttle and start moving, it might knock off. So what I recommend doing in these locomotives is just doing 1 notch at a time till you get to 3, and then you can full throttle it. So slowly just raise your throttle. Give it about 5 seconds each. Throttle up. Throttle 3. Back here, since we got 3 locomotive on us, we want to make sure that this switch right here is set to short hood lead, because we are running short hood end. That's what we set it up to, short hood lead. That next locomotive, this one right here, will be set up in single and intermediate, or this one says single and middle. And then that rear one should be set in, because it is showing we have the option of short hood trail and long hood trail. You will want that unit set in long hood trail. So the cool thing about these locomotives is, if you see these lights up here, you can see those. That tells you your headlights displayed. So both the conductor and engineer can see it. Well, obviously the engineer knows because he has the switches, but the conductor knows what lights are on. And you can see that our left and right on the aux lights, so that's our ditch lights, and our front headlights are on, top and bottom. But for some reason our rear headlights are not on. I don't know if there's a bug in the system, because everything was switched correctly, but it should be on. Talking about the conductor side, he also has a screen. I don't know if this operates. I don't think it does, and it does not, but this does. So if we're operating and he sees an emergency happening, he can also plug the train like that. Here's a tone pad so that you can tone up a dispatcher. Normally these guys do the toning and talking to the dispatchers, since the engineer is focused on running the train. And he also has a horn switch, which, by the way, does work. We got 2 switches that work on the side. I know there's 3, but the bottom one does not work. You got the cab dome light, which is right up here. And then your bottom one is your nose cap light, which is down there by the fuses. Alright, So there's two ways to use the horn system in this locomotive. You can either do push the horn button, or if you're on console, you can push the left thumbstick, and you can do your normal sequence of 2 long, 1 short, 1 long. So or you can push the sequencer button and it will automatically do the sequence for you. Yeah, I'm not pushing nothing on my controller. The locomotive is doing it itself. And you can see that our bell's on. It's not popping up on the horn, but the bell's showing on. So that's our entire sequence turned off. Let's push the horn button. And you can see that the horn does work. I manually push it. Alright, so now to use your dynamic braking. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you have no amperage on the locomotives. So either look at the screen right here or look at the HUD display on the bottom right hand corner and wait till that zeroes out. And just make sure that your throttle is in idle. Alright, come on train. Alright, there's 0. Now you want to get your dynamic and go to setup. Oh. Setup. Wait. 10 seconds. And once you do that, and then now you're just going to apply at how much brake you want. So we're just going to go to 8, and you're going to see that our amperage is going up. Dynamic braking uses force within the traction motors to help slow down the train. So it uses amperages, this uses air, and this uses amperage. The good thing with dynamic braking, alright, what is going on here? Well, the locomotive got mad at me. So the good thing with dynamic braking, I don't know, that's weird. I'm telling you, this game doesn't like how I operate these things. Anyways, the good thing about dynamic braking is you can set whatever throttle that you want whenever you want. So if you go to 8 and you're putting too much on, go down to 4, go down to, or up back to 5 or 3. And here's your alerter. You can either push the button on here on the dash, here on the control stand, or if you're on the controller, you can push B. Now, if you don't push it within the time frame, it will pop the train. When I mean pop the train, it means they'll set it into emergency. So they have that safety system in case both crew members or 3 fell asleep. The train doesn't run away. And to end this video, I've been asking this question since Train Sim World 2. Does really this switch work? Let's give it a try. So again, 89 on our rear. Popped. Zeroed. There it is. We're in an emergency now. Got something wrong with our train. So, question is it does work. So, yeah, don't recommend it, but it does work. Hey, if you enjoyed this video and you made it this far, please consider giving the video a like. Again, please subscribe as more Train Sim World 3 videos will be coming out on the channel. But until next time, we will see you all later. I did want to say that if you accidentally put the train in emergency to restart the system and alert, come over here and knock off this cab signal. For some reason it did it. So I think normally you'll go into the computer and reset it, but there's no other switches or controls to do. So just knock that out. We'll see you guys next time.